Car audio lovers, if you're looking for the best power source for your subwoofer or subwoofers, stick around for this video because today we're covering our top 7 mono amplifiers for 2025. This list of amps holds the highest customer ratings, and we've taken into consideration all the important factors to ensure your ride will thump as much as you want or supply just enough low end to sound like a concert on wheels. Plus, all of these fall within a super reasonable price point, giving them even more overall value. So, whether you're upgrading gear you already have or starting a car audio system from scratch, let this review be a guide to help you arrive at your best choice of subwoofer power. Let's start off with an amp that bears a name in car audio that's provided consistent performance and quality for many years, the Alpine S2-A60M. This modestly sized amp delivers up to 600 watts RMS power for a 2-ohm subwoofer and offers more than just basic power because it also has a built-in variable bass boost which allows you to dial in some extra kick and impact for more low-frequency enjoyment. An important note on this amp, it is stable at 1 ohm if that's what your subwoofer is rated for, in which case you'll also get 600 watts RMS. To dial in your bass even more, a low-pass filter puts you in command of the frequency spectrum that reaches your sub. This amp includes preamp and speaker-level inputs, so you can install it in almost any vehicle, even one with a factory radio. When using the speaker-level inputs, the amp can sense the incoming signal and turn itself on, eliminating the need to run a separate turn-on wire to the receiver or fuse box. And if you want even more control of the boom, you can add an optional wired remote to control the level of bass from your front seat. Keep in mind that for this amp and for the rest on this list, you will need a separate power wiring kit for installation. Okay, next is the stylish and sturdy-looking JBL Club A600. This amp is the updated version of the very popular Club 5501 amplifier with a smaller chassis and a more powerful output. You're going to get the same 600 watts RMS output at 2 ohms from this amp as the Alpine A60M we just covered, though it is not stable at 1 ohm. So 2 ohms is as low as you'll want to go when you're considering a subwoofer match. Although it looks like it was carved out of a block of steel, the Class D amplifier design ensures this amp will stay cool while playing loudly and that its high output won't put any strain on your vehicle's electrical system. One thing I really appreciate about the A600 is the 3-way protection system, which means it will shut itself down in the following cases: if the amp is overheated, if it's over or under the correct amount of voltage, or if there's a short circuit in speaker or speaker wire. You'll also see a power protection LED on the input side of the amp which lights solid when the amplifier is operating normally and will flash when the amplifier goes into protect mode. The A600 is compact enough in size to give you several options for where you'd like to mount it. It looks cool enough to feature somewhere in your vehicle, but small enough to hide away if that's what you prefer. And I love that JBL included the remote level bass control in the box with a super long wire for flexible mounting. Alright, let's move on to the powerful, compact, and quite affordable AudioControl EPIC1000. This amp offers more power per square inch in watts per dollar than most other amps on the market today. It's a 1000 watt amplifier and was designed specifically for subwoofers as it features low pass and subsonic crossover filters, a tunable bass boost, and a wired remote bass control. Let's say you wanted to add more subs to your system and a second EPIC1000. You can bridge the 2 amps together to get 2000 watts RMS at 2 ohms. Yes, you can be that person that everyone hears coming from blocks away. AudioControl made this amp for ultimate bass sound and connectivity, and it includes a power and ground connection harness that'll work with their epicenter bass enhancers, as well as with their line output converters and interface processors. Also included is a wired bass remote to ensure that at the turn of a dial, you can make sure those neighbors know you're there. Very cool note on this amp, it features a 4-pin epicenter link port that allows you to connect a compatible AudioControl epicenter bass restoration processor, which is sold separately, providing power, ground, and turn-on connections for the processor. What is a bass restoration processor? Well, in a nutshell, most factory radios dial down bass response to protect flimsy speakers. So even when you do add a subwoofer, your source's bass has already been reduced. The epicenter will bring it back. All of that for $200? That's a good deal. On to the next amp, which has for a long time been one of the most nuanced and intriguing amps in our lineup, the Kicker 47-key 501. With this super compact amplifier, you get fantastic, powerful bass without shelling out a lot of money for a huge amp or spending too much time tuning the system after installation. It features automatic signal processing that tailors the sound to blend in perfectly with your specific stereo system. And this compact power pack can send up to 500 watts RMS to your sub. It's an almost crazy notion when you look at its size, but it offers serious power for a subwoofer. I think what sets this little amp apart even more is that after installation, you'll download both the key sine sweep and a test tone from Kicker. Then you set the amp gain using the test tone and a key indicator light. The key auto setup with the sine sweep analyzes your system's response and applies the equalization and bass boost necessary to produce great bass. Then later, with the key button, you can A/B test the sound before and after processing to amaze your friends and family and yourself. Keep in mind, this takes minutes, not hours. You know how more and more these days there are eco-friendly cars that turn off their engines when stopped and then start up again when the brakes are released? That voltage dip during starting could shut down an amplifier or allow it to pass a dangerous clip signal to the sub. The Key 501 prevents these issues by automatically engaging a limiter in these circumstances. Installation will be simplified because of the compact size. You only got to find just around 8 by 2 by 4 inches of space to mount this little amp. And keep in mind that you have the option of a wired bass remote, but it is sold separately. Next up is the Rockford Fosgate Power T750X1BD, which is another super compact mono amplifier, but it is absolutely bursting with power with its ability to drive up to 750 watts RMS into a 1 ohm load. But will there be a problem with an amp this small running so much power? No, not to worry. Rockford Fosgate built in a dual fan forced air cooling system which keeps this sturdy little amp from overheating, so it can play hard for a long time. I love this feature too. The controls feature input and output clip lights, so if the blue light turns solid red while you're playing music, the amp's telling you that your source is distorting and that you should turn it down or risk damage to your gear. The optional PLC2 remote level control also doubles as a clip indicator, so you can see from the front seat if your music's clipping and restore pristine sound. You can also control the bass level from the front seat with the optional remote level control. Similar to the Kicker key amp is how you dial in this amp's sound. Rockford Fosgate's CLEAN technology, calibrated level eliminates audible noise, setup system ensures your music will sound as clean and powerful as possible. It works like this. First, download the setup tones from Rockford Fosgate, then play the tone, adjust the receiver's volume until a red clip light on the amp goes out, then turn the amp gain up until a blue light comes on. It's that simple. Your amplifier will be perfectly set to match your receiver's output. So when your receiver reaches maximum clean volume, you'll get maximum clean power from your power amp. At quiet listening levels, you'll hear less background noise and more of your music. All of the previously mentioned amps in this list have been Class D, but the T750X1 features Rockford Fosgate's proprietary Class BD technology, which is more efficient than typical Class AB amplifiers with lower distortion than Class D amps. Class AB amps typically have 20 to 60% efficiency, with the remaining power generating heat. Class BD amps are 75 to 80% efficient, creating more power to drive your speakers and creating less heat. So it seems like Rockford thought of everything when designing such a powerful amplifier in this small size. Kicker made our list again with the super powerful CXA-1200-1T. If you like it loud, this one can put out up to 1200 watts RMS at 1 ohm, so your sub will really push some air. The quality of the bass tone matters just as much as the volume, so the amp features low pass and subsonic crossover filters plus a variable bass boost to get maximum performance from your sub and enclosure combination. And since this amp works with 1 ohm loads, you won't have to worry too much about matching impedances when you add a second or third sub to your system. Kicker's fail-safe integration technology keeps this amp's input free from noise or interference, so you can tap into your vehicle's speaker wiring for an input signal without a worry. Another unique feature on this one from the rest of our list is the mounting configuration. This amp comes with hardware that lets you mount it vertically, so you can put it in a location that takes up very little floor space and looks pretty cool too. Now, a very important consideration with the CXA-1200-1T. It can draw large amounts of current, up to as much as 100 amps, so you may have to upgrade the electrical system in your vehicle to effectively power the amp. Once you get it going though, you'll be absolutely rocky on the road. Add the optional bass level remote to crank it up and down as you please. Be sure to check out the details tab on the product page if you're shopping this amp, as there are several notes for installation that will need to be considered before installing, given its high power output. Last but not least, let's take a look at one of my favorite workhorse amps that we've had in our lineup for some time, the JL Audio JD501. This amp offers superior power and serious features for your dollar. It will send up to 500 watts RMS to a sub at 2 ohms, so you'll hear and feel the bass the way you want it. Another small-sized hard hitter. A variable low-pass filter and bass boost help you tune your sub to fit your system and sound its best. Like the others on this list, an optional wired remote lets you turn the sub up or down from the front seat. This amp includes speaker-level inputs with signal sensing amp turn-on, along with preamp inputs and outputs, so it's ready to work in virtually any system. And an important note on sound, differential balanced inputs plus JL Audio's Next D amp technology keep the signal sounding pure and noise-free at all times. You know what I love the most about this amp? JL Audio keeps it simple, and oftentimes when a design is simple, the performance is exceptionally long-lasting and consistent. And that's what I've seen in the last several years with the JD501. It's been very popular with our customers, garnishing rave reviews, citing its tremendous performance and value. That wraps up our best subwoofer amplifiers for 2025. You can be sure that with our detailed and expert product pages for each of these amps, as well as our lifetime tech support help for the gear you buy with us, that you'll be satisfied with whichever you choose. I hope this video has helped you narrow down your choice and gotten you excited for experiencing your music on the road like never before. Don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. We'll be happy to help. And as always, thank you for watching.